Okay, so this is the testing for the form. So this form is the view form, so the main form they'll be looking at during the test, during the usage. So what they can do here is they can select a date, they can input the date, and then it will select data from each one of those days. So you can see currently on the 14th, these are the simulators that occur, and it will just display it. So you can choose each different date, and it will show each of the correct data from that date. So there's not much data currently inside of the thing. However, if it was actually to be used, there'd be a lot more data, but it'd still be the same kind of outputs, just with a lot more. And then you can also filter using the function here. So you can just filter by the hour, so you can just see these people will be arriving first. So it'll just be a lot easier on the day to allow people to get there in order. So whoever booked on earlier will be able to get on faster. This username and password bit here, and also it does select the right data, just going to show that. So Brandon Williams is for customer ID 16, and then it's on this time. So if you want to, there's a better one. So this has got more interesting data because it's got the 1315 right there, junior racer 25, and that is John Doe. So that's all displayed right there. This username and password, this is the login for the hosts. So these bits right here, they just input their username, input their password, and then for the hosts, each one has their first name and last name stored. That's not using this bit currently, it's because it just relies on the username and the password. So the username, each one of them is unique, and it checks that when they're about to input a new username. And then this password is after this salt, which is a 100-character string, is randomly generated, and then it is concatenated with the password, and then extra string that's stored inside the form. Then it's hashed with the SHA-512 algorithm, and then it stores the password in here. So for this host ID, the password was password. For this one, it was 1. There was 2, 1, 3, 4, and 5. Those are the different passwords, just so it's easier to remember. However, that probably wouldn't be how it was used if it was using the actual thing, but the theory remains the same. So this means that if anyone actually did try and crack into the separate form, it'd be very difficult to, because not only do they need access to the database, they also need access to the form data, so the variables stored inside the forms, and then they also need to try and figure out how it was concatenated with a random string that they don't know. So it'd be pretty much impossible to ever hack into this form. So just going to use a username and password of 22 because it's quite easy. Then it's just got, that's going to be for this one right here. Then this password, that was actually a 2 that was input, but then it would just replace that all with asterisks. So if someone was looking over your shoulder, they won't find out your password. So then you can log in, it will take you to the second form, and this is the main form where most of the functions happen. So you've got this button up here, nice and easy. It just outputs a success if the connection to the database is currently running. And you can also know that just because these lights are green. Then it will also display a MySQL error message from a try catch if ever anything fails, which just makes it easier to debug. And then the main bit is this bit right here where you can filter the entire form by each simulator. So if you want to look at the F1s, it'll select all the ones from the bookings which have the F1s, and then it'll put all their data, so the first name and last name, which retrieves it from multiple tables, and then outputs it. So you've got your first name and last name in each one of these. The last names all get put into this combo box here, and then you have this table right here. So all of that data lines up if you have a look, and so you've got each one of these, and then you can keep filtering by each of the different days, and it will keep resetting and then show each of the different days. And what you can also do is use this combo box for a reason. You can click each one of these, and then it will automatically fill in all that respective data into these text boxes right here. So as you can see, booking ID 46 correlates to customer ID 25, 14th of the 4th at 10 o'clock. But then it also see customer ID 25, that is John Doe, and it will display the right data right there. So that's mainly one of the things, but if you ever want to delete data, it's quite simple. You can just change what you're looking at and then just be like, if you want to delete this for some reason, you can instantly delete it. Just press delete, it's then being deleted, and as you can see, everything's already been updated and that data's no more. If you go back onto the other screen, you can go onto the 14th, that data has also still disappeared. In addition to this, if you ever want to change data, you can input the data and then you can change, say this person is a bit late, so they're going to go on at 45 instead. You can just put 45, update the data, and then as you can see, the minute table, this is all changed, and then for Brandon Williams now, their time is at 45. This is just simple, an update just across multiple tables. It just changes all their data to now represent new times. So then you can also filter the form by date. So if it's on the 14th, it will only select dates from the 14th. 15th only selects dates from the 15th. So that means that it means that you can just look day by day, which is just going to make it slightly easier for each of the functionalities of the program. There's this load table just in case something doesn't load, not necessary, and then you've got the reset button, which just clears everything, just in case stuff doesn't disappear. Another one of the main features is this host bit right here. So this is where all the new host gets created. So we have a first name, so any first name, and then any last name. So I'm just going to put last name, and then a user of user, and let's just put password as pass. So then if you add a new host, what it's going to do is create a random, it's going to output success as a new host has now been created. Now if I go onto here, you can check that now Michael, last name, user, and then has this hashed algorithm and a randomly generated result, which is completely different from any of the other ones, and now has a completely secure data. So then if I go out, then I use user and I use pass, I can now log in back onto the data, back onto this separate server. Another thing is this button right here, just a simple exit button. However, now there's just a confirmation if you want to actually shut down, just in case in the middle of processing they're doing it and then they accidentally press the button as a misclick, and it just helps minimize some small errors. So you can press no, completely cancel it. If you press yes, it will shut down the form. Okay, and then that's pretty much almost it. So we're just going to go back into the form. We've also got the end of day. So currently on this day, which is the 13th right now, if I have to input new data, so I can just put a new thing for the F1, any name, just put my own name, and then if I would like to go at 11:30, I can now insert new data, and then as you can see back on here, we've now got a new customer, not a username because that's now different from the website, so they can go onto the website and create their new username over there. And then if you see here, we've also got the new data that's been implemented. So with that, on this day, this is going to end of day. It's just going to be for the date that's currently going. It will say that there's been one Formula One, and that will just total £10 worth of income. And that's pretty much it for the form. So